Good afternoon everyone, it's Jana, and for today's vlog, I will discuss to you what is basic concept of functions, which includes mapping diagram, ordered pairs, composition of functions, for operation of functions, and table of values. So now, let's proceed to the definition of basic concept of function. So what is function? A function is a corresponding between two sets of elements such that with each element in the first set, there corresponds to one and only one element in the second set. The first set is called the domain, and the set of all corresponding elements in the second set is called range. Function means that each element in the set A must have corresponding only one element in the set B. An input must only have one output, however, two inputs can have the same output. Having one input but too many outputs, it is not considered as function. So now, let's define if it is a function or not using mapping diagram. So here's the example of mapping diagram. But first, an important reminder, always know that function can only have one output. So here's the one-to-one correspondence and many-to-one correspondence.
Evaluating of function is also under the basic concept of function. To evaluate a function at a given input, plug in the input wherever you see a variable in the function, then simplify it. Easy as that. Example, if f of x is equals to 3x squared plus 5x plus 1, find the f of 2. We just need to put f of 2 in our x in the given example. So we have f of x is equals to 3x squared plus 5x plus 1. So we have 3x squared we have x in our 3x squared, we have x in our 5x. So let's put f of 2 in our x. F of 2 is equals to 3 multiplied by 2 squared plus 5 multiplied by 2 plus 1. So let's use PEMDAS. We need to use the exponent first. So 2 squared is equals to 4. Now we have 3 multiplied by 4 plus 5 multiplied by 2 plus 1. Now let's multiply. 3 multiplied by 4 is equals to 12. 5 multiplied by 2 is equals to 10. Copy the plus 1. So we have now 12 plus 10 plus 1. So add all of them. 12 plus 10 plus 1 is equals to 23. And that's all. That's our evaluating of function.
Hello everyone, I'm Christian Patrick Flores. Today, I'll teach you the basic concept of function, which is addition. So, the given is f of x is equal to 2x plus 4 and g of x is equal to 3x plus 2. Then, we have this formula. In finding addition of function, in operation of function which if f plus g of x is equal to f of x plus g of x. Using of the formula, substitute f of x and g of x. Quantity of 2x plus 4. For our f of x, then add it with the 3x plus 2 of x. Now, let's answer using the combining like terms. 2x plus 3x is equal to 5x. Then, 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. So, the final answer is f times g of x is equal to 5x plus 6.
Let's move on operation of function. Using subtraction, we have this given h of x is equal to 7x minus 10 and g of x is equal to 2x minus 3. Here's the formula. Quantity of h minus g of x is equal to hx minus g of x. Now, let's substitute. H of x is for 7x minus 10, then g of x is for 2x minus 3. Now, let's combine like terms. We have 7x minus 2x is equal to 5x and 10 minus 3 is equal to negative 13 Our final answer is 5x minus 13.
Hello everyone, I am Philip Andre Berry, and now let us proceed to the next operation, which is the multiplication of functions. But before we proceed to the example that I have prepared, here is the formula of the operation we should use in multiplying functions. The formula is f multiplied by g of x is equals to f of x times g of x. Now, let us proceed to the example. Given that f of x is equals to 9x plus 7 and g of x is equals to x squared, let's find f times g of x. The first step is write the function as exactly shown, which is f multiplied by g of x is equals to 9x plus 7 multiplied by x squared. On to the second step. Let's distribute each terms by using distributive property of multiplication. Let's distribute 9x and 7 to x squared. Before we proceed in solving our given solution, always take note that if we're multiplying functions, we should only add the given exponents, because only the numerical coefficients can be multiplied. So, the result will be 9x multiplied by x squared is equals to 9x cubed. And the other one will be 7 multiplied by x squared is equals to 7x squared. As simple as that, we have our final answer, which is f multiplied by g of x is equals to 9x cubed plus 7x squared. And that's all about multiplying functions. Now, let's proceed on to the next slide.
Hello everyone, I am Cedric John Quito, and I will teach you the division of function. First, the formula. The formula of the division of function is f of g of x equals f of x over g of x. Always remember, in division of function, the denominator is not the zero. For example, this is our example. G of f equals x minus 5. F of x equals x minus 7. And now, let us solve this problem. The formula is f over g of x solution. Just distribute the value of f. Example, f minus 7 over the value of g is x minus 5. And that is the answer. Another example. Another example is Then is g of x equals x minus 3 of x equals x minus 3. Solution is copy the formula. Copy the formula f over g of x and just distribute segment the number 1. X minus 3 over x minus 3. And the answer is 1. There is another special operation called composition of function. We have this example. F of x is equal to 3x plus 1. Then g of x is equal to 2x minus 1. So we have this formula. G of f of x is equal to g of f of x. Then substitute each. To quantity of 3x plus 1 minus 1. Using distributive property of multiplication, 2 multiply by 3x, so we have 6x. Then 2 multiply by 1. Then we have positive 2, so we have 6x plus 2 minus 1. Now, we have to solve using combining like terms. 2 minus 1, we have positive 2, so the final answer is 6x plus 1.
Good morning everyone, I am Teresmi Igamboa and today I will discuss about rational function. A rational function is a function that is the ratio of polynomials. Any function of one variable, x, is called a rational function if it can be represented as f of x equals to p of x over q of x, where p of x and q of x are polynomials such that q of x is not equal to 0. For example, f of x equals x squared plus x minus 2 over 2 squared minus 2x minus 3 is a rational function, and here 2x squared minus 2x is not equal to 0. We know that every constant is a polynomial and hence the numerators of a rational function can be constants. Also, for example, f of x equals 1 over 3x plus 1 can be a rational function, but note that the denominator of a rational function cannot be constant.
Hello everyone, I'm Valerie Anjanella, and today I will teach you how to find the domain in rational function. X is the element of a real number such as x is not equal to 0. We have here the given f of x equals 3x squared over 5x plus 15. Remember, when we are looking for our domain, we should just focus in our denominator, which is 5x plus 15. So, 5x plus 15 must equate to 0. Using the subtraction property of equality, subtract both sides by 15. Then, we have 5x equals to negative 15. Divide both sides by 5. Then, we have negative 15 over 5. Then, simplify so that we have negative 3. Therefore, x is the element of the real number such as x is not equal to negative 3. To check, 3x squared over 5 multiplied negative 3 plus 15 is equal to negative 15 plus 15. So we have 3x squared over negative 15 plus 15 is equal to 0. So the function are undefined.
So now let's move on to rational equations. We have this given 5 over 8 minus 3 over 5 is equals to x over 10. To find our x, the first thing we should do is to find the LCM, or the least common multiple. The first denominator is 8. We have this 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40. Then our second denominator is 5. So 5, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. And for our last denominator is 10. We have this 10, 20, 30, and 40. So our LCM is 40. So we have now the quantity of 5 over 8 minus 3 over 5 is equals to x over 10. Quantity of 40. The next thing, 40 divided by 8, multiply by 5, so we have 25. Copy the operation, which is substitution. And 40 divided by 5, multiply by 3, is equal to 24. The last one is 40 is divided by 10, multiply to our x, is equals to 4x. Now, solve 1 is equals to 4x. Divide both sides by 40 to get our x. Now we have x is equals to 1 over 4. And that's our rational equation.
Good day, everyone. This is Trisha May Francisco, and today I will tell you what is inverse function and how to get those in 4 steps. But first, what is inverse function? In mathematics, an inverse function is function that serves to undo another function. So with that, to get the inverse function, we need to follow these 4 steps. First, replace fx with y. Next, interchange y and x. Third, solve for y. And lastly, replace y with the notation for f inverse of x, and that's written f minus 1 of x. Here's some example that will help you get and understand inverse function. First example is fx equals to x plus 6.
Based on a given example, f of x is equals to x plus 6. The first step is replace f of x with y. Then the second step, interchange x and y. Step 3, solve for equation for y. Using subtraction property of equality, now we have x minus 6 is equals to y. Then replace y with f inverse of x. Now we have f inverse is equals to x minus 6. To check, we should use composition of function. So f of x of inverse of x, then substitute x minus 6 plus 6. So the answer is 6. So that's correct. Last, for our inverse of f of x, substitute x plus 6 minus 6. So we have the answer x.
Hi guys, so I'm gonna show you an example of inverse function using graph.
And here are the example number 1. Let's say we have y equals to x, and this graph of our given function f of x, and inverse of this function is the reflection of our given function, or f of x. Again, we're moving on to example number 2. We have y is equal to x and our f of x, and the inverse of this function is the reflection of our f of x of this function.
And that's all for today. I hope that you have learned something from the topic. Thanks for watching and have a safe and wonderful day to everyone.